Hello everybody, welcome back to Matty Reacts, the channel where we take a look at things we never watched or listened to before. And I'm pretty excited this week because we're looking at a new band. And I hadn't heard much about these, and then I realised why. So a couple of weeks ago I popped on Netflix, and I noticed there was a new show on there called Simon Cowell, The Next Chapter, and I ended up watching it. And it was quite an interesting show because it was kind of like, it felt more like the early days of like Pop Idol and X Factor, where it wasn't about like manufactured drama in the same way. And it felt a bit more like back to basics. We're trying to make a band, let's audition people, let's put them in the band and see what happens. But it also was quite an interesting look into Simon Cowell's life. And how he approaches these things. And I actually thought it showed that he kind of really does care about, or at least he seemed to really care about the people that were working with him and the act he was putting together. Don't know if that's always been the case, because obviously you hear a lot of horror stories about X Factor in particular. But yeah, it was an interesting show. And at the end of it came this band, December 10. Named so because that was the date that their Netflix show was dropping. And I think although initially they were intended to be a 4 or 5 piece sort of band, they're a 7 piece. They're a big band. There's 7 of them. And I think there was a good argument for all 7 making it to the band, to be honest. I think, you know, it was a valid thing to not want to get rid of any more of them. And I'm just interested in what their own music sounds like, because obviously all we ever heard on the show was cover songs, and although they sounded good on the cover songs, you never really know until you get into their own sort of original music and see what market they're going to aim for, what kind of song they're going to take on. You know, I think if What Makes You Beautiful wasn't One Direction's first song, which kind of cemented them as this pop group, this pop boy band that liked to have sort of underlying guitars in their music, which became a big part of their sound. That would, you know, it could have all ended up so differently if that hadn't happened. So this is a song called Run My Way by December 10. And I'm interested to see what it sounds like and what this video looks like.
I don't know what went wrong. You got your headphones on, sitting right across from me, lips singing is short and sweet. I know this heat's not there. I see a track of tears slowly falling down your cheeks, beautiful as you can be.
So he's got a really good voice. He did in the show, but he started off being like really shy, and then he kind of became a bit problematic's a strong word. He's not problematic, but he was having some issues towards the end of it, and he ended up shaving his hair off so that his hairstyle wouldn't distract him. Which is, you know, I mean, if that's the big thing you've got going on in your life, I think, you know, it's a pretty solid life you live in, to be honest. I should mention that all of these people at the time of the show, they could have obviously had a birthday since, but all of these people are between 16 and 18. So the fact that, you know, people who are this young have this kind of talent anyway is just really interesting and really impressive. And obviously you can see that at least 1 or 2 of them play instruments as well. So yeah.
You don't need somebody in your life, yeah, who won't shine a light.
Ooh. Oh, I like the sound of this.
I come around 'cause I'm looking for you, shooting a shot, I got nothing to lose, so let him go.
Give me some more harmonies.
You can run my way.
There we go.
You should be walking on air, dancing and flipping your hair, so let him go and run my way.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell, I think, that this is kind of pitched at the One Direction audience, but a bit younger, obviously, because the One Direction audience have grown up a little bit. Yeah, this sounds like something One Direction could have released. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that there is market for this kind of music, but it's just it's as catchy as you'd hope a new pop boy band backed by Simon Cowell would be. Although obviously, when the show ended, they've gone on to a record label that isn't Psycho. So he's kind of only like a mentor now, rather than like officially involved with their sort of record label dealings. So I don't know how much input he had into this song. Who knows? But it's a very catchy song.
The movie in my head is starting to see instead. I'm taking you where you've never been, and you could be yourself again. See, I don't know what happened to that girl who was always laughing like Chalamet or played the lead. I know you're not mine, but now I'm thinking you should be.
And they have all got really sort of, not all, but there's enough of them that have got unique and interesting voices. I think that it makes it quite a fun band, because there's plenty of things worse, but I think in a band like this, if every single member is cookie cutter, that's where it falls apart. You don't want them to sound the same. You don't want them to look the same. Yeah. You can hear the different tones. Definitely One Direction coded.
You deserve somebody in your life, yeah. 'Cause you deserve somebody in your life, yeah. Who'll turn on a light, yeah. You deserve somebody in your life, yeah. Who'll turn on a light. I come around 'cause I'm looking for you. Shooting a shot, I got nothing to lose, so let him go. Baby, you can run my way. Someone like you should be walking on air.
Really like the drum beat in this. It's really driving. Yeah, that's good. I think that's going to go down well. Although I have seen some drama. I didn't listen to any of the clips that came online, but they did put some like little 5-second teaser clips online, and I think because one of them in an interview said something like, if BTS can sell out this whatever arena, we can sell out Mars, that all of the BTS stands have come out and said, you're nowhere near as good as BTS, and that could affect them. I don't think that was meant as a negative. I think they were saying, we aspire to be as good as or as better than BTS. I don't think that's a bad aim to have as a male band, with 7 people in it. To aim for that isn't a bad thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed that actually. I was hoping for something that was really polished, something that was really catchy, something that had those sing-along, moments that would do well in an arena, but also like if you're just singing along in a car. It had it all, really. It had all of those things. I think I would like to hear some more harmonizing. I think the fact that there's 7 of them, they should be able to do some really interesting vocal layering and harmony work. But this is only song 1, so I'm sure that there will be other songs that have those things in them coming soon. And I'm really interested to see, if this is the style they stick with, if they pull a One Direction and go with this sort of, I don't want to say like pop rock, because that gives it a bit more credence than it deserves, but pop music that is influenced by pop rock, that has those guitars as a bass, because obviously a lot of boy band music doesn't have that. So the fact that it has it all, I think is pretty good. And having seen all of these people on the show, I think at least a few of them could easily have careers in different kinds of music after this band as well. There's some R&B singers, there's some really interesting like indie style singers, there's the guy who did the big raspy note. Yeah, it's certainly a band to keep an eye on if you like pop music like I do. I think they're going to be fun to follow, and see how they do, and see if there really is still a market for a British boy band, which I think there is. But yeah, thank you for dropping by, and I'll see you again for another reaction video very soon.